Well, good evening, I'm Elizabeth Alex. The story of a lethal love triangle reaches its final chapter this evening. 30 minutes ago, Teresa Stone was sentenced for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the death of her husband.
Now, Beth Vaughn is live outside the Jackson County Court Annex in Independence with the very latest on this.
Krista, Teresa Stone will spend 8 years in state prison for planning her husband's death. The maximum penalty in this case was 10 years. Listen as she pleaded with the judge for mercy.
If I could do anything to change them, I would, but I can't.
At points during the proceeding, Teresa Stone could be heard sobbing through the microphone and even had to brace herself to stay upright at one point. State prosecution had an Independence detective detail a decade-long affair between Stone and the family's pastor, David Love. Now, they argued greed between the two lovers led them to plot 42-year-old Randy Stone's death. He was shot to death in his own insurance office 2 years ago, and Love later admitted to pulling the trigger. Now, days after the killing, Love performed the eulogy at Randy Stone's funeral. Today, emotions ran high when both of the Stone children took the stand in defense of their mother.
We need her, and I can't stand the thought of losing my mom after I've already lost my dad.
Randy loved Teresa with every ounce of his being and worked so very hard to give her everything she should want. But Teresa wanted more, and Randy paid the ultimate price.
A detective detailed today the initial suspicions against Teresa Stone. It actually started the night Randy Stone died, and her emotions that were apparently not normal for a grieving wife, and also a love letter they found in her trash bin that was written by David Love. We'll have much more on this case and the sentencing tonight at 6. For now, we're live in Independence. Beth Vaughn, 41 Action News.
Well, 8 years. That's how long a woman will spend behind bars after admitting to her role in her husband's death.
Now, the Jackson County courtroom in Independence was so packed for Teresa Stone's hearing, the judge told those standing they needed to leave. We have team coverage tonight, and we start with Beth Vaughn.
Krista, the story of a lethal love triangle has captivated the Kansas City area for 2 years now. Today marked the final chapter. Teresa Stone had to brace herself from falling over as she asked the judge for mercy in her sentencing. In April, the mother of two pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit first-degree murder for helping to plan her husband's death. 42-year-old Randy Stone was shot to death in his insurance office. Later, the family's pastor admitted to pulling the trigger. Now, that former minister, David Love, is spending a lifetime in prison for his part in this killing. Today, we gained greater insight into the love affair that spanned a decade. According to an Independence detective, David Love fathered a child with Teresa, and that pregnancy ended in miscarriage. He also bought her an engagement ring, which she wore right next to the ring Randy Stone gave her years earlier. Today, both of the Stone children asked the court to keep their mother out of prison.
And over the past 2 years, we've grown amazingly close as a family. And me and my sister both need her very much.
Because she's motivated by her own greed and by her own gain. She wanted the perfect life with David Love, no matter the cost.
We also learned today that Teresa Stone was immediately interested in her husband's life insurance policy. That totaled $800,000. It was intended to be the nest egg for her and David Love's new life together. Of course, there were huge reactions in the courtroom. Curtis J. was sitting in their front row. Tell us, what was family saying?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the reaction inside the courtroom, it was mixed at times. We really did not see Teresa react a lot. The only time that we saw her cry and get emotional was when her son and when her daughter were in the stand and they were pleading for mercy. And also you saw Teresa, she was getting emotional when she was asking the judge as well for mercy. But we heard a lot of interesting thing in this case. In particular, we heard about that $800,000 insurance policy. And also they talked about, this is something that came out that was a surprise to many, was the fact that not only did they want to kill Randy Stone, but they also wanted to kill Pastor Love's wife. And they talked about how for Pastor Love's wife, they would break her neck and make it look like it was an accident. So that came out today during the sentencing hearing. And I talked to one of the prosecutors, which she said, even in the court case, she said this to the people out there that, you know, these two, they committed even the worst crimes. Those crimes being the 3 commandments. They violated thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not kill. And when the prosecutor said that inside the courtroom, you heard a couple people inside the courtroom say, amen. So it was all fitting in a case like this that involved a pastor, an affair for 10 years, and the murder of her husband.
That's right. Randy Stone, we want to mention Curtis. Randy Stone would have been 44 yesterday. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Oh, no.